Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're doing something slightly different as we are going to be doing a full glam. Grab your cup of tea or even grab some makeup because we're about to get glammed together. This is a new series which I'm starting called Glam and Grow, where we basically sit down, just do a full face of makeup, talk about all things growth, all things self-development, all things that are relevant right now, you know? One thing about me, I love makeup and I want to find a way to combine the self-development and the glam and the makeup. So what a better way to talk about them whilst doing our makeup, whilst doing a full face. I usually go between these two products. This is the Refy Niacinamide. This is the Glow and Sculpt primer, but I'm gonna go in and use this one. This is the Primark Prep and Perfect one. Recently, I've been having thoughts all about goal setting, and I've been thinking a lot about self-development and how it can kind of be a bit fake. I was actually talking about this on our podcast, Being Grounded, with my friend Fleur, where we're basically talking about how sometimes it can feel very forced, and it's also very privileged as well to, you know, to try and become the better version of yourself through going to the gym or doing these extracurricular activities that not many people have the privilege to be able to do. And we were talking about what it actually means to give advice, and it's got me thinking. I've not stopped thinking about it since we filmed it. I'm gonna go in with this foundation. This is from Kiko. This is the Instant Moisture in the shade 1R. This is very light for me, guys. Like, this is extremely light, so I have to mix it with the tiniest drop of this, which is my summer shade. Huda Beauty Easy Blur foundation. Far too dark for me right now because it is the wrong season. So I literally do the tiniest drop of this. Like, I don't know if you guys saw that. That was the tiniest drop. Putting this on makes me realise, like, oh my god, how tanned was I back in the summer? I must have been really tanned because this is very dark for me now. But yeah, and I was really thinking about how self-development, now it just really feels so fake, and it feels like telling people to do things that, like, you don't even do yourself, you know? Why do we have to always be setting goals? Why do we always have to be doing the thing? And don't get me wrong, I think it's incredibly important to be very ambitious. However, I think that sometimes the advice people need to hear comes from the heart, you know? And I've always found the videos that do well personally on my channel, and we were talking about this again on the podcast the other day, is the ones that aren't following a trend, are the ones that aren't new year, new me. They're the ones that are like, this is what I've learned from my experience, this is how you're gonna overcome it, basically. And I think that's a powerful thing about social media, and that is a powerful thing about self-development, is that it really can be such a useful tool. But to me, the problem becomes a problem when it's like, it's not really helping people, it's more pressuring people. And I've personally found this myself with the gym. Now, I live about 10-minute walk away from a gym, and the gym isn't the best gym. It's expensive considering the lack of facilities and just considering all the things with it. I can't drive yet, so I'm learning how to drive, but I can't drive yet. I live in the UK. The weather is terrible, especially in January, February, winter months. And so trying to go to the gym for me, it just feels like such a chore. It feels like something that I get excited about the night before, and I wake up and I just dread it. I can't do it. I can't walk 10 minutes in the gym in the tipping down rain. It's just not for me, and I'm sorry I've said it. Like, I just can't do it. And so if I can't even uphold to that standard myself, why should I try and, like, put that on somebody else, you know? If you have got a gym accessible to you, do it. Like, go by all means, because it teaches you discipline, it teaches you healthy habits, it teaches you finding dopamine in hard things. For me, like, I really do struggle with going to the gym, and it's just something that is just part of my life. So instead I try and find other ways to exercise, but it kind of feels like sometimes there's such a big pressure around doing things that maybe you don't always need to do, or maybe just are a bit pointless and don't necessarily align to your life. And I'm gonna go in with this concealer. This is from Rimmel. This is a multitasker concealer, and I'm just gonna literally place this under my eye. I am nearly out of this concealer. And so I think sometimes you can be your biggest developer, you can be your biggest help. You know, you can be the one who really makes a change in your life because you find what works for you and you profit off of that, you use that, you take advantage of that, and you make it work for you and for your goals and your needs. Like, sometimes people can kind of like paint an aesthetic with it, or they can paint a false picture of it, and then you feel like you really have to do it, but actually it doesn't necessarily align to your life, or it doesn't align to that version of yourself. And I again think this way about waking up really early. In an idealistic world where I've got so many businesses going, I'm running so many businesses, I'm doing so many things, I would be waking up at 6 AM, and I'll tell you that. But for me right now, I don't need to wake up at 6 AM. Like, I don't need to do that. And especially as someone who has low iron, or, you know, has like, just is tired all the time, sometimes I just find I need to give myself the the rest. And I always beat myself up over it, thinking, God, you're so undisciplined. Why do this? What would the highest version of yourself say, hearing that you wake up at the time you wake up at? Like, what's she gonna say? When sometimes I have to realize, look, as long as all of my work gets done in my day, to me, I don't really mind what time I wake up. But however, me recognizing that and me knowing that that is actually somewhere and something which I want to improve on is a good thing for me to work towards. However, I shouldn't go at it feeling pressurized, if that makes sense, because everyone else is doing that. That's a cool thing to do. It should be, why do I want to wake up at 6 a.m? What's the reason for it? What does it mean for me? Not what does it mean for the self-development person online who's telling you that wake up at 6 a.m, otherwise you're gonna fail at life, you know? What does it mean for me? What does it actually mean to you? That's how you create the long-term habit. Now I'm gonna go in with this bronzer. It's from Revolution, the Mega Bronzer in the shade 01 Cool. I have been using this bronzer for years. Like, I have gone through one of these already, and my friend actually gave me this one because she doesn't use it. I'm gonna take it on this big fat brush. I'm gonna work it into the sides of my cheeks and bring it upwards. I'm just going to keep building upon that. Remember, the trick to do this is to drag it up like this. But yeah, I just think these are really conversations that not many people are having, and these are the kind of conversations that not many people do have, because again, especially in this society where no one slows down, no one stops, everyone's like go, 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 hustle, 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 you know, it's like one thing after the next thing. And again, I'm all for that, but with balance, but with, you know, with actually prioritizing your needs and what you need. What's not what some internet guru who has all of these businesses and has everything that they already have, because that works for their lifestyle now. Like I said, if I had that lifestyle, which I will, when I get to that point, of course I'll be waking up at 6 a.m because I need to wake up at 6 a.m because it fits in my schedule, you know, because obviously I want to go to the gym. I can't wake up at like 10 a.m when I've got like hundreds of businesses to run, you know what I mean? For me now, while I'm still in the developing stage and I'm still in the building phase, it makes sense for me to prioritize what I need now, but also try and work on the things to improve, to be able to make it easier for when I do get to that point. So I feel like that was such an ass about face way of trying to explain. I feel like I get very affected by the seasons, and I've noticed recently my motivation just declining. Like, oh my God, I wake up, I just want to go back to sleep. I can sleep all day because of the weather, because of just the fact that it's so grey and so miserable outside, and I can't think of anything worse than waking up and going on a run, and you know what I mean? And of course, it is good to be disciplined, but it's also about giving yourself what you need. I'm gonna go in with this liquid blush from Rare Beauty in the shade Hope. I love this blush. I personally think it is such a good blush. It blends lovely on your face. Now I'm gonna take this brush and just really blend it up. Yeah, it's about just basically like eliminating other people's pressures put on you subconsciously. Now I'm gonna go in with this powder from Huda Beauty. This is the Easy Bake powder in the shade Pound Cake. One of my favorite powders. I feel like I talk about this every single video that I make where I'm doing my makeup and I use this. I always talk about it. It's my go-to powder. Genuinely have never used a powder so good before in my life, and bear in mind, I've gone through my fair share of powders. I love powders, and this has got to be the best one I think I've ever used. Before I set, I just like to go underneath my eyes and just kind of even out any creases. Take a very generous amount on my puff, and I literally go underneath my eyes and set, and I bring it down. And then my friend taught me this trick for your smile lines is to do this. Honestly guys, I feel like I could talk about my love for Huda Beauty all day long. What a queen of a woman. Like, not being funny, what a queen of a woman. I'm just very inspired by what she does and how she does it, and her ethics and her morals, and you know, how she goes around things, and even her products. Like, I genuinely haven't used a bad product, I'm not even lying. And I think that's the thing, like, again, like, if you're gonna pay a lot of money, because not being funny, the stuff isn't like drugstore makeup, it is more pricey. If you're gonna invest that much money into makeup, you want it to be good quality. You don't want to be mugged off with, you know, like a £40 lipstick and it be shit. You want to actually know you're investing your money in somewhere good. Okay, now I'm gonna go and set my face blush using the No. 7 palette. I'm gonna go and use this blush. What I like most about this blush is the fact that it's very warm. It's not a very like bright blush, it's more of a warmer blush. I think it's very classy, you know. I'm not really into like big bright pink blushes, especially for a daytime look. I more prefer more of a neutral look. Now I want to try out a new trick, which I haven't actually tried before, but I've seen people do it and I want to give it a go. That is to set your face now before the rest of the makeup. This is the Easy Bake setting spray. This also has niacinamide. Niacinamide! There we go, I finally got it. Oh my god, now it's gone. Okay, now for the step that like kind of ties it all in a little bit more. and that is brow. So I just spoolie them up and out using this Wonder Brow spoolie. Don't ask where I got this from. I think I stole it from my mum. And then I go in and use this 3-in-1 brow pencil from Primark. I do like Primark makeup, and again, not something that I really ever tried or experimented with. I've only ever used these 2 products from Primark makeup. Oh, and also a lip gloss, which is also really good. This does come with other compartments. It comes with like comes with this, which I don't really know what this does, but something. And it also comes with one of these like little spoolie things, which again this is a bit too dark for me, so I don't use that. I just use a pencil because I can kind of build it up, and I just like to like draw a line like that because I just kind of like to give it a bit of shape, and then just kind of fill it in where I feel necessary. I like to give it a bit of shape, especially where sometimes I can over pluck. Now we're gonna go in and curl our lashes, go in and use my favorite mascara of all time. This is a Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. Guys, when I tell you this is worth the £28, this is worth it. And £28 for a mascara is astronomical. £28 on mascara is crazy price. You know what? I bought this when I hit 1,000 followers on TikTok because I thought, you know what? Me, who was 12 years old and making little videos to go on her WhatsApp status, doing makeup, always wanted this mascara. This was like her mascara that was on her wish list. I had it like printed out and put on my wall. Before I even knew what a mood board was, before I even knew what a vision board was, I would always have pictures of things I wanted to buy in the future on my wardrobe, and this was one of them. And so I went and bought it for myself because I knew that younger Molly would have been so proud. I know 1,000 followers isn't massive amount, but she would have been proud. And I don't think I've ever used a better mascara. When you find what really works for you and what really works for your face, you are never going to go back. And I feel like the same with self-development as well. Like when you find what works for you, when you find the advice that works for you, when you find the goals that work for you, or the lifestyle or the habits that work for you, you're never going to go back, and you know, you're going to keep trying to implement them because you find they work. And you know, I even find the same thing with skincare as well. Some people say about how their skincare product is amazing, you know, but you might find it makes you break out because everyone's skin is completely different based on their hormones, based on their skin barrier, what they normally use, you know. It's like a formula and you have to find what works for you. Now I'm going to go in with the P. Louise fluffy brush. I love these P. Louise brushes. I think they're really good. My makeup brushes were all just old and disgusting, so I had to throw them all away. So I got these ones instead, which again were not a bad price either. This is the F21 blending brush. This shade right here, which is called Rise Up. It's like a brown, I don't know if you guys can see. It's like a brown neutral sort of shade. I really want to concentrate it in the creases and also just kind of bringing it out a little bit, you know, not too much, but just a little bit, just to kind of create more of a lifted effect. I love neutral shades. If anyone watching this has blue eyes, these sort of brown shades really suit you. Now I think I want to try a bit of a different colour as well, so I'm going to go in with the shade Nirvana, which is this shade right here. Okay, this is more of a purplish shade, so I'm going to go very, very light-handed on this because it's going to end up looking like I've been punched in the face. In the very inner outer crease. I'm not going to bring it round or up, just really concentrating it there. I use the tiniest amount. Okay, then finally, last but not least, I'm going to do a little bit of a wing, and I'm going to use this brush, also from P. Louise. This is the E15 brush. It's just a very angled brush, and I'm going to go in with the shade Renegade. I also love this. This is like a really glossy sort of liquid shade, which I think is really cool to include in a palette like this because you don't normally see that. Even same with these, like, I don't know if you can see that they're kind of like 3D, but I'm going to go in with the shade Renegade, which is just a powder black, so I'm going to use that one. And I'm going to take the tiniest amount because best believe this is pigmented. Miss Huda was not playing around with these shades because they are pigmented. Okay, I don't know if we're going to be able to emulate this on this side because I did this a bit different to what I normally would do. Wish me luck, guys. Wish me luck. Oof. Last but not least, on the eyes, I'm going to go in with the Lancome Crayon Kohl eyeliner. I'm going to use this underneath my eyes. Okay, finally, last but not least, I'm going to go and do my lip liner. This is from TikTok Shop. This is a Enjoyyy Best liner. I'm going to go with this Huda Beauty lip gloss. This is a faux filter lip gloss in the shade Bombshell. I love this shade. That is a finished look. I hope you enjoyed episode 1 of this little mini series which I'm going to be doing. Just every now and then, you know, whenever I have some thoughts pop into my mind or I just want to sit and do some makeup, try out a different look, try out a different palette, try out a different style, then we will do this more often. I really hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think and I can't wait to see you in my next video. Bye!